Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and I hope you had a good Veterans Day yesterday. And today we're going over Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So what I ended up doing was taking my favorite from the blind that I did last week, which is the B batch B525. I took the batch from my favorite from last year, which was a C924. Then I grabbed all my old ones that had the 12-year age statement on them, and I had my wife pick any random two to put them into the blind as well. So there's gonna be the two that I know of, and then two older ones, which I still to this second don't even know which ones are in it because the whole pile of bottles are still on the table. So I did have one that was almost empty that I didn't put in because I think I wouldn't even have enough for the sample, and I don't know how long it's been oxidized for, so I'll just kill that soon. But first, let's do the giveaway for the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 2025 video from last week. All right, so again, this is for the 2-ounce samples of the A batch, B batch, and C batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof from 2025. And Michael Harkins 7682. Descriptions in the email, send me an email. So I forgot that I was gonna do 3 giveaways for these 3 bottles. So I just ran it, and the winners are Raya O'Hara, Beninato, and then I did another one because I messed up, Irving Larry 5826. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's get into the blind, and as I go, you guys will see it, but I'll have all 4 labeled on the bottom, and I'll try to put the little label on the front of the bottles with the age and proof and stuff somewhere up here. So let's get to the nose on A. All right, A on the nose is bright red fruit. So much red fruit forward. Red Jolly Rancher, oak, dusty, but it is a red fruit, sweet red fruit, like a Red Jolly Rancher bomb. It's got a B on the nose. All right, so B on the nose, not my favorite nose. There was some slight red fruit, some slight funkiness that kind of led to like a off-putting oaky peanut note. We shall see. Not my favorite nose on B. So let's go C. C has a pretty good nose as well. It's bright like A, and I didn't go back and compare it to A. I'm gonna go through it this way first, and then probably compare A and C right now. But where A was bright red fruit, Red Jolly Rancher, C is purple Jolly Rancher. That sweet grape note. Oak, dusty, apples. Another really great nose. Okay, let's go to D. So D, okay nose. It's not bright like A and C. It's just a much darker profile. Oak, darker, leather, red apples. So the only one I didn't really like too much was B. Yeah, the nose still on B is kind of like sour almost. Yeah, A and C are both very bright and fruity and candy. Okay, let's get into the palate. All right, so A on the palate. Oak, red fruit, Red Jolly Rancher, some peanut. Pretty good palate. On the finish, peanut butter, dark chocolate, vanilla cookies, which are all good. And then the lingering, the very end, not my favorite. It tasted empty, which I'm pretty sure I've said this before. It's like almost like more of like a feeling than an actual note, where it's like it's just missing something. And there was like a peanut note that wasn't my favorite. But first sip of the day, so we'll see how the second sip is. All right, the palate continues to get better. So honey, slight darker fruit. The finish also got a little bit better. I kind of identify that empty note as more of like an oaky note. That's not my favorite. And some red fruit. Still, the finish isn't my favorite, but the palate's very, very good. One more sip. Overall, pretty good, but there is a bitter oak note on the finish that I'm not a big fan of. But man, if it didn't have that one note, this would be pretty damn good. It's very complex. There's a lot of different notes. They're all good except for that bitter oak note, but that bitter oak note is pretty strong, unfortunately. All right, let's go to B. Okay, so this one is not very complex, at least on the first sip. We'll see. But peanut oak on the palate, oak, peanut butter, red fruit on the finish. Nothing off-putting, but nothing that's really pushing out a lot of flavors. Second sip, not too different from the first sip, which not the best. I got red hots on the finish, so some cinnamon candy note. Let's go. Third sip, be really good. All right, so vanilla and strawberry Laffy Taffy on the palate. So the palate got a little bit better, but it's still very peanut and oak forward, and not the best way either. On the finish, I got some slight bitter oak this time. overall, I think A is a little better than B. Oh, I don't know about a little. That damn bitter oak. I'm hoping when I go back and forth that that bitter oak note kind of goes away, but it was kind of pretty strong in the beginning, so we'll see. Okay, let's go to C. Man, C is a purple Jolly Rancher bomb. I would have used this as an example for purple Jolly Rancher on my Halloween video. So purple Jolly Rancher, red fruit, oak on the palate, oak, dusty, purple Jolly Rancher on the finish. I almost feel like my tongue is purple. Like, that's how strong the purple Jolly Rancher note is on C. Not very complex, but it has a lot of that purple Jolly Rancher sweetness and the oak to kind of back it up. Not too much spice. First sip, so let's try a second one. That is so purple Jolly Rancher. Crazy. So all I wrote was icy sweetness, and literally it's the same note. It's the purple icy is that artificial purple grape sweetness, which is purple Jolly Rancher. But I wrote it because it came in my head real quick, and I'm like, it's the same thing. So much purple Jolly Rancher. There is enough oak to balance it, so it's not overly sweet or anything, but that note is beautiful in C. Now, if you hate that note, you may not like this one. Okay. I think I have one more sip. I'm gonna do another sip because I already forgot. All right, so I think on the second sip, I was enjoying it too much and not really focusing. I'm human. It was just so much better tasting than the first two. I was like, oh, it's something I just want to drink. So I actually got some more notes on the third sip. Nutty and vanilla on the palate and red fruit and vanilla on the finish. So overall, obviously this is my favorite one so far. It's just got a great balance between the oak and sweetness, and everything in it is good flavors. Definitely in front as of now. So let's go to D. So D's pretty good. It's a different profile, but overall, a very enjoyable drinking experience. It's much darker. Vanilla, honey, butterscotch. On the finish, nutty, oak, hazelnut, cinnamon. Pretty good. Switching on first sip, that's very different than C, but both of them are enjoyable, just different ways. You know, second sip, the palate still remained pretty good. Oak, red fruit. The finish though is kind of starting to become lackluster. A little bit too nuttiness. One more sip. Hopefully the finish comes back to being good. So unfortunately the finish kind of went in a not okay direction. It's okay. The palate I really enjoy. I did give vanilla on the finish. The finish is just a little bit too nutty and like not the best oak note. I don't know if I'm just critiquing these harsher nowadays or what, but C seems to be the clear favorite coming through this way. I'm gonna drink some water and I will A/B these and come back with a winner. All right, went back and forth, and some of them a little bit more back and forth with each other. Got a winner. So let's do a giveaway. So if you wanna win 2-ounce samples of all 4 of these, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with best of ECBP, all one word, capital letters. So the 2 that were in here, it was B522, which is 121 proof, and again, that's the 12-year age-stated one, and this one was a 12-year age-stated one. The A123 at 125.6 proof. So again, I took my favorite from this year, my favorite from last year, and 2 random ones from when they had the 12-year age statement on it. So I kind of handicapped them a little bit, but the whole reason I did this video was to kind of find out, are they actually getting worse? Or is it just like a mental thing that we want the 12-year age statements back? This is as far as science I could do, okay? And that's just blinding them and finding out for myself. Now, looking at the results, we might have figured something out, but we'll see. All right, so in last place, it was B, which is this year's B batch, B525. I scored that at 3.3. And which is a pretty good score. Now I scored it the other day at 3.4, so it's a little bit lower, but it's, you know, I don't know. It didn't do as good today, I guess. But I did get a little herbal note on the finish. Again, the finish wasn't the my favorite on B. It is what that is. So this year's came at last. And then we go into third place. And third place is D, which is C924, which was my favorite from last year, 11-year-old 129 proof. And I scored that 3.4, so barely being, and these are actually the funny enough. I was going back and forth a lot with B and D to kind of see which one I like better, because I started getting a little bit of a black licorice and anise note on the finish on C924. Again, I scored that 3.4. And so that was an 11-year-old, so 11-year-old, 11.5-year-old. So the age statements, not too far off to really say that's the reason, but I did pick my two favorites versus just two random ones. Now between these two, obviously my favorite was C. I'm like, you guys already know. I like to go on through, and it still was my favorite. So this was A123. And, you know, back then, I know I was definitely figuring out what my favorite batches of the year were back in 23 and 22. I just don't remember which one it was. I do enjoy this a lot. This was pretty good today, especially today. You know, it's 125.6 proof, 12 age age statement, and I scored a 3.9. No new notes. It's, you know, the Purple Jolly Rancher bomb. And then the second place was the B525, and that's 121 proof, and I scored a 3.6. And I got a couple new notes on this one. So I actually got Purple Jolly Rancher on the palate on this one, and honey and butterscotch on the finish. Because going through, I actually thought this one was going to be below either one of these or maybe both of these. But going back and forth, that bitter oak note kind of went away and started giving me like the honey butterscotchy notes. So it kind of propelled itself ahead of B and C. The two older ones won. The one that won the whole thing kind of won in a landslide to me. It was just delicious versus other three. You know, even the other old one. I don't know. Do I have to do more of these? I do have more older batches. We'll see. I'll continue buying these. It's one of my favorite brands. I have so many of these open. Like, my wife's like, which one do I pick? I was like, any ones you want. I do have a lot of Elijah Craig barrel proofs. You know, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse and try to get the 12-year age statements back on the bottles, because I know a lot of people, you know, are on that bandwagon. And this is why I wanted to do this. I wanted to actually test this out for myself and kind of see, like, is it just a mental thing that we want that back, or is it really actually better? And at least today, the older versions are better than the newer versions. So you let me know your thoughts on this sides project that I did today. Don't do nothing stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.